Hey, welcome back to Duke's Apocalypse Kitchen. It's been a minute. This is episode 74.
What? 74 is crazy.
Yeah, we're back. We got a whole bunch of new things to show you and new places to go, because that's the new element of Duke's Apocalypse Kitchen, is that we're going on the road. We're going to go to some of my favorite places, and then we're going to cook some of the things that we had there. We're going to go to some of my favorite markets. We're going to pick up some great food. And I have this great little outdoor kitchen that I just pimped out, and it's pretty epic. We're going to go cook outside. But today we're cooking inside, and we're gonna braise some artichokes. So we're gonna make a little, we're gonna do an aioli cheat. We're not gonna make an aioli that requires a food processor because I'm too lazy for that crap today. Artichokes, man, let's look at this.
I am always so confused about artichokes in the raw.
Who wouldn't be? And if this vegetable doesn't describe me in a heartbeat, I don't know what does. It's really hard on the outside. The best part is in the middle, and the center will kill you. What's not to love about that? Who's the first person that ate an artichoke and was like, that's damn delicious? That was a lot of work. That guy was pretty hungry. I mean, between that one and the first guy to eat a lobster, you know, amen to those guys. They were starving.
They made choices.
Let's break this down. First, you pick out artichoke at the store. What you really want for your money is some stem. If they cut the artichoke off here and we're doing a braised artichoke, we're missing like 50% of the food on this beast. We don't want to do that. So if you can get one with a little bit of stem, that's great. There's ways to clean, and people are going to say chop off the top and everything. We don't need to do that for this dish. We do need to tear off these woody leaves here. Just go around until we get to a tighter package of leaves. I'm starting to get that here. They're not pulled away. That's pretty good. That's really all we got.
And they kind of change color by the time you get to where you want the leaves.
Yeah, and sometimes that center part that can kill you is purple. Sometimes it's white. Okay, now we're gonna cut the end off just a little bit because that's dry and woody and I don't want that. And then we have to trim this. Now trimming this, I like to do with a paring knife. You can do it with a peeler and get in there. We wanna get this outer covering off, okay?
Oh, the peeler idea is a great idea.
Yeah, peeler idea is good.
I would do that for broccoli stems.
This is a paring knife. The only time you use a paring knife to cut towards yourself is this little guy, like this. You do this with mushrooms. If you take a couple more leaves off, it's not gonna be a big deal. We just wanna get this little notch in here, and then I'll go back to the peeler. Yeah. Because the stem is full of tender artichoke meat. That's what we wanna call it. There. Gets a little lighter in color, and you can tell it gets a little softer.
Okay. Are you going to eat the stem too?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
The stem is really, it's 50% of the food in this guy. Now we're going to cut it straight down the middle.
Oh, including the stem.
Yeah.
So you did the whole thing.
Right. So now we have that purple part. That's the part that will kill you. You can't swallow that. It gets stuck in your throat, and it's very fibery, and it needs to leave. I think it's color-coded, so we know we're done picking it out, truthfully.
Nature is a miracle.
If you have a thing called a grapefruit spoon, it's a spoon that has a really little serrated edge on it. That's really great for cleaning these out. I brought out this funky spoon because I can't find our grapefruit spoons. This one has like a really tough edge on it, so I'm just trying to, it's working great.
Can you tilt it up to the camera a little bit more so we can see what you're doing?
So we just want to, you can pull those leaves down from the top so you can get the spoon in behind and just scoop it out. You can see all those fibery little things. Nobody wants that. All right, one down. That's a clean artichoke.
Beautiful.
Nice clean stem. Other side, second verse.
This is one of those things that I've eaten quite often, I have enjoyed, and I have no concept of how it is prepared or cooked.
It's really nice. It's really easy. It's a great date food.
They think you're fancy.
Yeah, they do think you're fancy. It's a great date food because this artichoke, unlike the artichokes you get in a jar where you just pop the whole thing or you have it on pizza or whatever, we're gonna start peeling these leaves off, and the meat is going to be this white part that's gonna get nice and soft. You dip it in the aioli, you pull the meat off with your teeth, throw the leaf away. So then you have this whole thing. And then when you get down to the real tender part, you can just pick it up or knife and fork it, Anyway, so we have our 2 halves, nice and clean. We're going to braise them so that we need a pan that's deep enough so that we put these in and put the lid on, it fits tight. If you have a Dutch oven or something, that will work too. We're going to use a little bit of olive oil and butter. I like using olive oil with butter when I'm braising, keeps the butter from burning.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea about that.
Quick drizzle of olive oil.
As somebody who just burned butter this morning.
There you go. Now you know. Okay, so 4 tablespoons of butter is a half a stick. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of butter, so it's going to be just a little less than that. I'm going to cut these up so that they're easier to...
That's like Julia Child level butter. She always brought out like the vat of butter.
Bless her heart for it. Okay, I'm going to get that started. Just heat that up a little bit. Now, while that's going, the rest of the braising liquid is a half a cup of chicken stock or vegetable stock and a half a cup of white wine. That's all it is. We're going to throw the lid on. We're going to let it go for 20 minutes. And it's going to be all nice and soft and delicious. While that's happening, I'm going to have my beverage. It's Belgian. It goes with all of this. It pairs beautifully. It's a nice lager. We're going to make our aioli, our shortcut aioli, but I'll get to that in a moment. So, while we were on hiatus, and I went back out in the restaurant world for a brief little bit, I supported some of my favorite places with any way that I could. I couldn't go to New York and go to the restaurants, but I looked on their websites and I found merch, which, as you know, is some of my favorite stuff about restaurants, especially my favorite bars and pubs. So, like my favorite dim sum place happens to be the oldest dim sum place in Chinatown in New York, and it's the Namwa Tea Parlor. And they make these cool t-shirts. So, of course, boop, in the cart it goes. Zabar's, my favorite grocery deli up on the Upper West Side. Can't go there and get bagels, can't get their great mustard and their rye bread, but I could get towels and pot holders.
And the towels, and you guys also got some snacks from Zabar's.
We did get the snacks too.
Yeah.
Anything that they could ship without dry ice, we got.
And Zabar's was one of my favorite haunts when I lived on the Upper West Side. So I was really thrilled to see they have such a recognizable logo.
Epic place. Epic place. You gotta check it out. Okay, our butter's almost ready for our artichokes to go in.
Yeah, I think a lot of us really leaned into making sure that we were supporting local places that we wanted to have and make it through.
Right. And the merch is a great way to do that because their profit margin on that is way higher than if you actually went there and bought food. There tends to be a 10% profit margin on food if your pricing is spot on. That's like the best you can hope for. On merch, it tends to be 50%. Mm-hmm. So if somebody had T-shirts or something that I could actually purchase in their shop, I did it, and I did it as often as I could because I want them to be around. And
I think you explained to me how expensive it is for restaurants to do the takeaway trade.
Yeah.
That it really, even though it got them through the pandemic, it cost them a lot of money, and then people kind of got mad about the price of the food.
Right, when they put it in the package, it's like a 6% fee for takeout things. Not only is all of the takeout and packaging that much more expensive, and there had to be that much more of it to get your carry-out to you safely, those things also went into short supply. So then we go to order all of our boxes and our gloves and the plastic bags with the seals on the top and everything, and everybody sold out. So then the people that had them still, places that had them still by the case, prices went way up. Mm-hmm. Gloves at one point were $20 a box. Mm-hmm. $20 a box. 100 gloves. Not 100 pair, 100 gloves.
I know, it was crazy. Yeah. But
so,
I also felt for all the restaurateurs just trying to hustle to make it through the pandemic. Like I had a little insight. Working with you and talking to you, like the people that really hustled through this sweated blood and bullets and took a hit. Yeah. So I always, if you have the money to do it, go to the place that actually has the decent food and is paying decent salaries to their employees. Yeah. If
you can do it and you want them to be there on the other side of this, then go and buy a T-shirt, buy some merch, buy a pint glass. Support them. Okay, now, braising. We are ready. Our butter's ready. Stock goes in.
How much stock did you put in?
Half cup.
And that was just like chicken stock?
Yeah.
And now you're putting in some wine?
Yeah.
Fancy.
Oh, whoops, I put in 3/4 cup instead of half cup.
And you're just pouring it all.
Yeah.
No shame in your game.
No. Now it is on a medium flame, and I'm going to cover this up.
So by covering up, you're kind of steaming it.
Yes. The braise is to cook in liquid when the food item is about 1/3 to halfway up soaked in the pan with liquid. And then it's covered. So you get this nice bubbly, steaming, saucy thing going on. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my choky parts.
The things that will kill you.
Yes.
That seems like a good idea.
And onto our aioli. I just grabbed a couple big tablespoons of regular mayonnaise. Any kind of mayonnaise you want. Typically an aioli has egg yolks, vinegar, mustard, and whatever seasoning you're gonna make. Made in a puree in a Cuisinart food processor.
Which is essentially mayonnaise.
And oil, right. And so while you're whipping your egg yolks, you drizzle in you put in your mustard and your lemon zest, and then you drizzle in olive oil, and it all comes together. That's kind of a pain. I don't want to get my little Cuisinart out, so I'm just going to grab a good mayonnaise, and I'm going to add Dijon mustard to it, and my lemon zest, and just a teaspoon of white wine to that. And that way we have a really nice sauce to go with our artichokes that I didn't have to slave over. And some people are funny about using raw eggs in anything, but I'll tell you, the vinegar and the lemon juice are curing the egg yolk, so you really don't have to worry about that. The acidity in the Dijon and the aioli goes way up, and ain't nothing growing in that.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Because I like a good raw egg in all sorts of things.
Right. Just a heavy teaspoon of Dijon. Maybe about 1.5 in that. Right there. Gonna mix that up. You could add a lot of things to this that would be really nice, like some fresh tarragon. Mince that up, throw it in. Some people might go with dill if you have it in the summer. Zest first. So I'm gonna zest some lemon here. And I'm zesting this lemon because it needs to go in there, and I forgot. Thing's got 4 ingredients, and I forgot one.
It's the Julia Child idea of what happens in the kitchen stays in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And if there's a mistake, just bathe it with butter.
Uh-huh. All right. We don't need a whole lot, but it is going to go.
Will you hold up your zester? I've never seen a zester like that.
It makes larger zest. It's got little holes.
And is that what it's called, is a zester?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, I've never seen that.
That's looking good. Okay, now, lemon juice.
Just squeezing it in.
Yep, that should be enough. I'm going to give it a little taste test here. Going with a little more lemon juice. Didn't see that coming. That is really good.
So I imagine that's kind of to taste.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of tasting it and then deciding whether to add a little bit more.
And we're gonna add our little tiny splash of.
Because I imagine it even may be different based on what kind of mayonnaise you're using.
Right.
I think some mayonnaises are sweeter, some mayonnaises are saltier.
And this one was saltier. We had determined. Spot on. Okay. There. Look at that.
Done.
Aioli's done.
I've not had
Didn't have
artichokes for a long time. I'm quite excited about this. This is my payment.
She does get paid in food.
I eat well on Fridays.
This is going to go for 20 minutes.
Okay.
We made our aioli. So I say we go to fast time.
All right.
Toodles noodles. All right, we're back. It's been about 20 minutes, which when I peaked was about 3 minutes too long because I burned my braising liquid on one side of the pan. And as that turns out, it's going to be just fine because that's the braising liquid. The artichokes and all of the meat of the artichokes are perfectly cooked. And it does actually really smell amazing.
Yeah, it smells delicious. You made a nice comment about this is why I only use glass tops.
Yeah. So solid lid pan. It's the only one that fits this pan, and it's great. It does its job. But my glass ones, I can see what's going on. And when my braising liquid boils dry, I'm right here to add to it. But if I don't get to see it, I'm super chatty. We're sitting here talking about all kinds of stuff, where we're going to take the show and all the things. And I got distracted. And then it looked like that. But like I said...
But the artichoke's not burnt.
Artichokes are not burned, and that turned out fine.
Perfect.
So, not a disaster. We're not using that as a sauce. It's already been soaked up into the artichoke. So, that's actually really beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous. Will you bring the next one a little bit closer?
Yeah.
Is that mine?
One of these is yours. I'm not used to doing my own zoom in and zoom out. I don't know how I feel about this.
You
Here.
gotta work. Oh man, that looks
Doesn't
amazing.
it look amazing? All right. We're going to give these a couple minutes to cool off because this is a finger food dish. I'll show you, see if I can get one of them in here. So now, peel these off. And there's a little bit of a tender little bit there.
And that's what you eat, huh?
Uh-huh. Oh my God, that's good.
All right, will you dip
This
me
is why
one?
it's a good date food.
Will you dip me one?
Mm-hmm. Here, Maria.
No, now.
Oh my God.
I want my
Sweet
artichoke.
Georgie Brown.
Duke, don't be mean. I'm working here for you.
Fine.
Look at that. Look how pretty.
And you can just sit here, peel leaf after leaf.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I love how tart the mayonnaise is. Cool.
There's a lot of meat that can come off this inside. It's all been tenderized. It is delicious.
So you just leave the hard stuff.
The stem, butter soft.
And what do you
Alright.
do with the stem? Do you just cut a piece off of
Dip
it?
it in the Dijon, the whole thing. We're just going to keep doing this till we get to the center.
All right.
In the center of the choke, all of this tender meat in there. So delicious.
All right, we're not going to do all of that on camera.
I'm going to do all of this right now, though. But thanks for joining us today. Thanks for coming back. We have a lot of exciting things in store, and we're going to eat well. See you soon.